Appearing unbothered is widely misunderstood. It is not indifference. It is not emotional shutdown. It is control of access. Most reactions are not caused by harm. They are caused by exposure. A tone shifts. A comment lands. Attention moves outward. The change is subtle, but visible. Posture tightens. Eyes adjust. Energy responds. This is where composure leaks. Not because the moment was severe, but because it was granted entry. The Stoic method focused on surface. Not what you feel, but what you display. Emotion may arise internally, without appearing externally. This separation is decisive. When others see no reaction, they stop probing, they stop testing, they stop escalating, because nothing feeds the exchange. Appearing unbothered does not mean nothing is felt. It means your inner state is not available for use. This creates psychological distance. Distance removes leverage. Most people broadcast what affects them without realizing it. Speed changes, tone shifts, expression leaks. This is how influence is granted. The Stoic response was restraint. They did not advertise reaction. They did not signal disturbance. They kept the surface calm, regardless of internal movement. This made them difficult to pull. If you often feel targeted or pressured, it is rarely personal. It is visible responsiveness. In the next phase, we will examine how this visibility is reduced and how emotional signals are withdrawn until reaction disappears from the surface entirely. Influence begins the moment emotion becomes visible. Most people believe control is lost when something upsetting happens. It is not. Control is lost when reaction is displayed. This is the mechanism. A stimulus appears, emotion rises, the surface responds. A change in tone, a shift in posture, a pause that lingers too long. These signals are small, but they are read immediately. Others do not need your words. They read movement. Once emotion is visible, leverage forms. The other person learns where pressure works. They learn what pulls attention, what speeds you up, what unsettles you. This is why some people keep testing the same point. Not because they are malicious, but because the signal was clear. Visibility invites repetition. The Stoic correction was not suppression. It was concealment. They allowed emotion internally, without letting it surface. No tightening, no pacing change, no expressive shift. This preserved authority. When nothing is shown, nothing can be used. Pressure loses direction. Testing loses purpose. Provocation loses reward. This is why appearing unbothered creates calm around you. Not because you dominate, but because you offer no leverage. If you often feel pushed, pressed, or repeatedly tested, the issue is not intensity, it is signal. In the next phase, we will define how this signal is reduced deliberately and how emotional output is narrowed until composure becomes unreadable. Appearing unbothered requires one adjustment: reduced output, not reduced awareness, not reduced feeling, reduced display. Most people leak emotion through automatic signals, micro-expressions, changes in tempo, unnecessary movement. These signals appear before words. The Stoic focus was earlier. They narrowed output before it reached the surface. This is not suppression. Suppression creates tension. This is containment. Emotion registers internally without being amplified externally. No added speed, no added volume, no added motion. The body remains economical. Economy preserves control. When output is reduced, information disappears. Without information, there is no leverage. This is why calm becomes unreadable. Not because nothing is felt, but because nothing is broadcast. You are not performing neutrality. You are maintaining alignment. Alignment holds position without effort. As output narrows, presence strengthens, interaction slows, testing decreases, pressure dissolves. This is the Stoic method in motion. In the next phase, we will apply this containment in real situations and show how being unbothered becomes visible, stable, and unmistakable without effort or display. Reduction alone is not enough. It must hold under pressure. This is where appearing unbothered becomes real. Someone tests you, a comment lands, a pause stretches. The instinct is to fill space, to explain, to signal awareness. This instinct breaks the surface. Application begins by staying still, not rigid, stable. Posture remains unchanged, face remains neutral, energy remains steady. You do not rush to respond. You do not adjust expression. You do not signal disturbance. Time does the work. Without visible reaction, the moment loses tension. Others begin to adjust. They speak again. They clarify. They retreat. You did nothing. This is not detachment. It is composure. If speech is required, it is brief, low volume, even tone, final. No explanation, no emotional framing, no urgency. This preserves the unbothered state. The surface remains calm, even as internal processing occurs. This is what people read, not indifference. Control. In the final phase, we will integrate this unbothered state into identity and show how emotional influence disappears when composure becomes permanent. At this stage, appearing unbothered must become identity, not a behavior you switch on, a state you remain in. You are no longer someone who controls reactions. You are someone whose reactions are not accessible. Emotion may arise internally. Pressure may be applied externally. Attention may be directed toward you. None of this alters your surface, because nothing is leaking. This is not emotional coldness. It is emotional sovereignty. You do not advertise what affects you. You do not display disturbance. You do not signal availability for pressure. As a result, influence disappears. There is nothing to pull, nothing to press, nothing to exploit. This is why the unbothered presence feels powerful. Not because it dominates, but because it withholds access. When this becomes consistent, people stop testing. They sense there is no reward. This completes the method. From calm under chaos, to reduced emotional output, to an unreadable surface, you are no longer managing interactions. You are setting conditions. In the next phase, we will take this one step further and examine what happens when emotional access is removed completely and pressure no longer finds a point of contact.